lot of money in those.
Right, because what year would that have been?
That was 1978 to 1981.
Right, and you were under contract with the university.
Okay,
$1,000 a week. That was a lot of money back then.
It was a lot of money. I had to pay for all my cocaine and alcohol issues. And then after that, I turned 50 and I was not the new kid on the block anymore. And I thought, oh, wait, this is different now. It's sort of like they're done with me. Wait, there's this other thing that I can do. And I opened up my own law firm in Century City, and I became an entertainment industry litigator, and I won a jury trial against Rod Stewart for taking $4 million from South American concert promoters, keeping the money and canceling the tour because the last payment for one of the concert producers was 30 days late.
Wow.
And the contract said, if you default, you can keep the money. And these 11 concert producers in South America found me and said, who is this guy?
Right.
We had millions of people ready to see him, and he canceled the tour. And I said, well, we'll just have to get that money back. I got a $4 million jury verdict against Rod Stewart, his lawyers, his managers, and his agents.
Wow.
And everybody said, we're going to fucking get you, Holahan. And I said, okay, come on.
Sure.
So that was really, really fun. Because, people go to law school because they think they want to help create justice in the universe, but in that moment I did. It was cool. So I did that for about 10 years, and then I was asked to go in-house with a Native American tribe and help them build a casino. I did that. And then when that was over, this big law firm called me and said, we have a corner office waiting for you. We just need you to bring your entertainment practice here. I said, okay. And that was my last gig, and I just retired last April from Lewis Brisbois, Gordon Smith, and the partners took me to lunch and said, we want you to run for mayor of San Francisco. I said, or write your autobiography, and we want to represent the autobiography to the publisher. I said, okay, that we can do. Sure. But in the meantime, give me my severance, and let's have dessert and get out of here. Oh, gosh. Well, the one that made me famous, if I was ever famous for 2 minutes, was Al Pacino, Scarface, where I played Jerry the banker, the guy who launders his money. So that was okay because it was a prominent role, but it wasn't much acting, actually. It was sort of like, I used to think it was just who I am, but I played, in terms of acting, I played a Swedish officer visiting MASH, the MASH unit. The MASH was on television for 11 years and was very popular. And unbeknownst to everybody at the MASH unit, including Hot Lips Holahan, who falls in love with this good-looking Swedish guy, I had been injured in a war somewhere else and was impotent. And so that scene where I had to tell her was, if I had to pick one, the best scene I ever did. And that was really nice. And the scene where I tell Alan Alda before I tell her was also pretty good. So, that, and then there were a bunch of other little stuff. I mean, I did some plays. I did Cat on a Hot Tin Roof and played Brick, the guy, who was in love with his football buddy, but can't get his wife and was drinking himself to death. That play was really good, and I was good in it. And I did a play called Picnic by William Inge, which I had the lead, and I was also good in that. But I did a Shakespeare play. I did Romeo and Juliet, where I was the prince of the city who gets pissed at these teenagers for fucking up and comes in and has to give 3 speeches. You're banished. You killed him. You're banished. It was just banished. And that was fun. That was a lot of fun. So I'm a lucky guy. Yes. I've been able to, and there's no difference, by the way, between a lawyer who's a litigator and an actor. You both go to a place, show up, stand up, and speak. And you try to convince the audience or the jury that you're telling the truth. And so I liked both, actually. I liked both. Young, what are you, 26?
31.
Let's go 26. You have an untapped potential to be. You're very photogenic. Listen, I'll be your lawyer and your agent.
That's fine with me.
You could be. Listen, we could have you on Saturday Night Live soon.
Exactly right. Too.
I think.
Yeah,
have you ever had any thoughts about doing that?
Well, I love doing the interviews because I find that you learn so many amazing stories.
I'm talking about you.
Right. Me.
Learning
The most I
life.
would do is just trying to, I think, make people find the humor in taking care of themselves. Find it to be funny, like it's a challenge.
Well, you did that in here. Look,
right.
I walk in here bleeding from the rectum, and you've got me laughing. What the man? How did you do that? I'm right now dying, just so that you know, Cameron. I'm bleeding out here, but I'm having fun with the doc. My father died of alcoholism. He was abusive to my mother when he was drunk. I had to get between them. Why do I mention that now? I have no idea, except that if I've learned anything, it's that anger is the enemy. Being angry about anything, I don't care what it is, doesn't do any good. Whatever the situation is, it makes it worse. So I'm still learning this. I still have this inexhaustible supply. It's like, PG&E wishes it had. And then I still have this inexhaustible supply of anger that springs up every day. So my lesson is to turn away from anger and meanness, because it never does me any good or any of the people I'm with any good. And that's been the hardest lesson I've ever learned, but the most valuable.
Right.
Wanted to find a tax deduction, so they knew
Right.
this,
The movie wasn't
they
too
knew
well.
that if they funded 5 really bad movies and spent $5 million on each one to produce them, and made sure, this is the producers, right?
Right.
Made sure the movies failed, they could write off a huge amount of income.
Wow.
And my movie, Hypersapient, lived up to be one of the worst movies ever made. There was another one called Braveheart, or something like Braveheart, which was a huge hit, and that producer got totally fucked.
Right.
So he had profits, he had
'Cause
to
it
pay
did so
taxes
well.
on forever.
Right.
It's like the producers. Hypersapient
Sure.
is about
No one would
aliens.
ever imagine there would be a movie made to lose money.
To lose money. So I was the lead Hypersapient. Uncle Arik, A-R-I-C, is who I was. Yes, absolutely. And we came from another planet, and there was supposed to be a magic light that followed us everywhere, a little electronic spaceship that followed us everywhere. And after the movie, and so we were always talking to it, after the movie was shot and they were editing it, they ran out of money. So there was no magic light in the movie. We're all talking to the trees. Well, there was, it's the stupidest. That's why it had its premiere on an Air Canada plane. Okay?
I love it.
And that's not the one I was with Jay Leno in, but it was, that was the worst movie I've ever been in, and I was good in it.
Hypersapient, you were amazing.
I was a good
The trees
alien.
responded.
I was a really good alien. Only I was talking to nothing. Wait a minute. Here we go. Chris Sarandon.
This is which movie?
This is Collision Course.
Yes.
Chris Sarandon kills me in a restaurant by taking a knife and getting some dolmas on his fork, dolmas on his fork, and shoving it down my throat and suffocating me with dolmas in a Polish restaurant in Hamtramck, a Polish neighborhood in Detroit. I swear to God. You couldn't, I don't know what, here's my picture. Okay, there I am. Okay. There I am. Okay. And we go back, wait a minute. Oh, sorry. I lost it.
But that's the name of the movie, Collision Course.
Yeah, that's the name of the movie, Collision Course. Wait a minute. And it was, here we go. There's Jay Leno right there.
Right.
He plays Tony Costas,
Right.
Greek, Domas,
I love it. Right.
put down my throat. There's Christian Reddick. It's a good Tom Noonan. This is a good cat. Pat Morita.
Sure.
Come on. This should have. I think they thought this was going to be a hit. Ernie Hudson, John Hancock, Al Waxman, Dennis Holahan, famous, Danny Kamakona. I mean, this should have been Randall Tex Cobb. Oh my God, this was better than I thought. I'm gonna have to go look at this again.
Exactly.
Maybe they could re-release it.
Exactly.
It's not done. I'm not done.
Exactly. You're not done.
That guy who I got sober with.
Collision Course.
Yeah, Collision Course. And Louis Teague directed it. And they were trying to get me to sound pompous. And, I would give the speech, and Louis would say, could you be a little bit more pompous? And Jace at one point said, or not. Just be yourself, thinking, I know this guy, and by himself, he's fucking pompous enough.
Exactly.
So it was, it was shot in Detroit.
Sure.
It was a movie about industrial secrets being stolen by the Japanese.
Okay.
That's already a snooze, right? Who the fuck gives a fuck? They stole all the cars. We know that already. We didn't need to learn it twice. So anyway, it was fun, but it was a terrible movie.
Right. Okay.